on the suit. Drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over.
Take it light. Okay.
Now you're more fluent.
He's got three.
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
You know, nobody's home again. Nobody's home again.
Can you handle it, Tone? Can you handle it?
They're at the park. They'll be home soon. But
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We kind of got sidetracked because Tone was in the middle of a really good story, and I kind of want to get back to that.
And give me 30 seconds. Okay, I'll finish that story because we got a lot. We got a lot today. We got a conspiracy.
Yes, we do.
We got the broadcast boys, and we got some LeBron James stuff. So the shoes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. And he says, "Do you see the little dip right here where it goes around the toe?" I said, "Yeah."
Yep.
He goes, "That means that there's this other version of them." And I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Look." So you click these on. He clicks them on. He goes, "See the one that's just perfectly round all the way around?" He goes, "Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are regular. Get them anywhere." He goes, "If it has this little dip," he goes, "they're around." See that? He goes, "Normal ones go straight."
Yeah.
And he goes, "These ones that have this little dip,
yeah,
are they're worth some money." And I go, "How much can they be worth?" So you know how you go onto your Google app and you take the picture and it shows you $5Gs.
What? A $30 investment for 5 stacks, Tone.
And I'm like, and he goes, "Where'd you get them?" And I said, "I literally took my kids, back to school, took them to an outlet, because they have to have, I don't know if you might not remember this. But at their age, they have to have like indoor, outdoor shoes, right? I don't know if you had to go through. So I'm like, I'm not paying, how much shoes are. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the outlet. They can get whatever they want, and those are their indoor shoes, right? So I saw those. Like I said, I like the color. I'm like, cool. Everything I own is just like black,
right,
or navy, like this. You can't even tell. It's like everything I wear is just dark,
right.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna get them. And and when he told me that, I was like, no way. And then I looked it up and I'm like, I saw it. I'm like, now what do I do?
You might want to hold on to them, Tony. It might be a collector's item.
I don't know what and just for the record, anybody who wants to buy them, you can see they're perfect, no crease, no nothing.
Right out the box.
And I'm like, I don't know. Like, do I like roll like a big shot and wear a $5,000 pair of shoes around the streets?
And by the way, Tone, that's what they told you. It's like an NBA franchise. Okay, the franchise is worth $4 billion. How much are you selling it for?
How much? If you offer me half,
take 25 on it.
You want a pair of these size 13 Jordan Tropics for $2,500? Send them my way.
Here you go. Here you go.
I'll deliver them to your house.
Here you go. Here you go. Tone is in the Nike outlet. Damn, Tone, I don't know, man. Is this $30 in the budget? Are you sure, Tone?
No. Well, actually, okay. This is listen. You have to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will say you're cheap. I would say, because they call LeBron cheap, FYI. They call Jordan cheap, FYI. They call Elon Musk cheap. They call Jeff Bezos cheap.
What do all of those people have in common, Tone?
Exactly. They're smart. I call them smart. So when I saw those, they were like on, like I said, it was at the Nike outlet, and they were $80. And they were $80. And I said, as I'm at the cash, I say to the guy, I'm like, oh, they were in the clearance part there. It said $39.99. Oh, he says, oh, cool. Yeah, no problem.
There you go. So now you get them 50% off. They was $80, and now you get them for 50% off. What the hell?
And I still thought, even more, because $29.99 or whatever is like, it's more than 50, 60. And so, and then I said to Mrs. Fluent, I'm like, okay, it's cool. Like, even if I don't end up wearing them because it's not like the typical thing that I would wear,
right?
I said, hey, it's $30. Who cares? Like, whatever. Yeah. And then and then that happened, and now I'm torn. I literally so I put them there just to make myself think. Maybe we'll do a vote or something and see, wear them or sell them or keep them. Maybe Fluent Jr. will want them in if he ever gets to that size.
Well, Tone, you're a businessman, and as a businessman, one of the things you've always taught me is, one, fail fast,
Nice.
and if you have an opportunity, if I'm not mistaken, it's from $30 to 5 racks. If I'm not mistaken, that's flipping my money like 150 times.
That's almost a 200. That's right. That's
It's
right.
like 150 times I'm flipping my money. I'm not sure I'm saying no to that, Tone. I might have to put those on the market just to see what
That's if you listen, I learned my lesson. You remember the real estate market crash of
I do remember
06, 07?
Mm-hmm.
I was living in Arizona. I had a place. It was on. I don't feel weird sharing this story because I'm not giving you too many details, but it was on a golf course.
Yep.
And it was on a golf course where Tiger Woods had just signed. This was at the peak of Tiger Woods, don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
He had just signed to play in that tournament on that golf course for the next 10 years. And the houses skyrocketed. I, at that moment, was being transferred to California. So I moved to LA. Right. So now I have this house that I'm gonna figure I'm gonna rent it out. And I thought to myself, oh, it's skyrocketed from what I bought it from. I should sell it.
Right.
And then I was like, well, Tiger Woods, once he shows up that first tournament and the crowds come and it'll probably go up some more. I got greedy. I didn't lose any money, but damn, I didn't make no money.
Neither. I ain't make that neither.
Right? Like, and that's where I was like, man, when you get an opportunity to flip something, just do it, man.
Do it.
You never know. You never know. Anyways, Fluent Jr., unfortunately, he's out. But you know his theory about birds not being real.
I do know his theory about birds not being real. He got that from his father, by the way.
I don't know where he got that from. They're the cameras, right? The government cameras are watching us. Mm-hmm. And so today we were driving around and he said, if birds are the eyes, what are the ears? I said, what do you mean? You ever smack down on a bug and you hear it crack? Like it doesn't smush it, like it's hard, and you see their legs are all like this, like they're almost metal. And I go, yeah. Because what if and I said, well, they do say, like, if the FBI, I said, is listening in on you and they put something in your office or in your room or whatever, they call it, that your room's been bugged. And he's like, oh, they're just straight up telling you it's bugs. Bugs are the ears. Bugs are they're not even hiding it.
There you go.
Called being bugged. And I go, yeah, it's called being bugged. He goes, so they're not even pretending. It's bugs. So birds are the eyes and bugs are the ears.
Are exactly that.
Said, well, technically, yeah. If someone puts a listening device in your room, it's called, your room's been bugged.
Right.
I knew it. He goes, that's why you see it like a spider. It just sits there listening.
See what you started, Tone? See what you started? Okay, now you got my nephew out here on conspiracy theories, and now he's gonna be looking over his shoulder for the rest of his life. And as he gets older, it's gonna get even worse. See what you started, Tone?
I think it's smart that he knows what he's talking about.
He 100% does. Yes.
Because and then it got me thinking, how many other things have they just put out right in front of us, and we just don't know to look for it? And I found this.
Cosby, and you take care of yourself.
Right there in front of our eyes.
What? Is that Bill Cosby really dropping the
I'm Bill Cosby, and you take care of yourself.
Don't drink that. Don't drink that if you're smart.
Don't drink
smart. Do not drink that. No.
Like, they're not even pretending.
What? Ain't no way, Tone.
Can you believe that?
Way. Right there.
Right in front of you. Right in front of you.
Are you
kidding me? Man.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It sure is. Sure is.
It 100% is.
We got a lot. So we're going to do 2024, our rankings.
Yep.
I got a tier list. I got to ask you a question. 2 questions, actually. One about LeBron James, one about Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal. And then you have something that you want to discuss.
I do.
So do you have a preference? on where we start?
I think the rankings are going to take the longest.
Okay, so we'll save that to the end.
Yeah, I feel like the rankings are going to take the longest. I want to start, Tone, with a conversation that I had earlier where we talked about the league MVP. And you and I have had this conversation in the past.
Does it have to do with this?
Or no? No, it doesn't.
Okay.
You and I have had conversations in the past about the league MVP not being the best player in the league, but also sometimes he is the best player in the league, right? So, for example, in 92, Jordan was the best player in the league. In 97, Karl Malone was not the best player in the league, but he won the league MVP. Just this last season, Jokic is the best player in the game, I think. And with him being the best player in the game, I think that they got it right. The question that I have, because I thought about this, because somebody had brought this to my attention, about Derrick Rose, and you actually, Tone, stitched the video, which got my wheels turning, about Derrick Rose being the best player on the planet. Well, I'd like to take it a little bit further than that. As good, because there's this cult following of Derrick Rose, right? There's this cult following even to this day in 2024 of Derrick Rose. So it's a three-part question, and I want to start from the beginning because we already have the guidelines of what the league MVP is. Like I said, sometimes it's the best player in the game, but sometimes it's not, right? So I want to ask you, Tone, in 2020 and 2011, was Derrick Rose, let's take him being the best player off the planet off the table. In 2011, Tone, was Derrick Rose a top 5 player? Now, before you answer that question, I'm gonna run some names down for you, and then you give me an idea. So, James, KD, Bryant, Wade, Dirk, Howard. And remember now, Tone, we're talking about the league MVP being the best player in the world, but not always. But is he also is if he's not even the best player in the world, is he at least a top 5 player?
It's interesting because that particular is 2010, 2011, correct?
2011, correct.
So you have
James.
You have James, KD,
Bryant,
KD who won the scoring title that year
for the 3rd straight year.
James,
Bryant,
Wade, Bryant,
Dirk, Howard. Was Derrick Rose a top 5 player in the league that year?
Would you? I'm going to go crazy on this one too. Would you put Amare Stoudemire? Wasn't that like his best year as a Knick?
He got hurt though.
When did he get?
But he was in the league.
Didn't he play almost the whole season?
That was the next year. I'm sorry, in 2012, he ended up when he got Carmelo.
He played like 80 games.
He played the whole season in 2010, 2011. That's my fault. He
was in the conversation for top
earlier in the season. He was actually in the league MVP conversation. That's a New York thing, I think. I don't think that it was really.
That's fair.
I don't think it was. I got
to pull it up. Let me pull it up. Because I got to see. Look, I know it's not just about numbers, of course, but
right.
Let me see. Hold on.
I don't think it was a serious thing though.
25, 8, and 3.
Yes,
it's not. Yeesh.
I think he made the All-Pro team that year too.
50 on 50, 43, and 80 split. Like that's not. That's.
Yes.
Big man, like I don't know.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Man, 2 blocks a game.
Now that Knick team, don't forget that Knick team had gotten dismantled.
Yeah.
They had rating.
You gotta be that's the thing about the MVP. So I'll start the question with that. The MVP isn't just the best player. It's not that easy. It's not that easy because sometimes the best player isn't on a very good team.
Right.
So it is because you can be the best and not the most valuable. You can be the best and not the most valuable. You can be the most valuable and not the best.
When I think about that, I think about Scottie Pippen.
It goes both ways.
Sure.
I think of Anthony Davis.
Right. Anthony Davis is another good example.
Um,
Bam is a good example. I think.
I would say this. I would say at no point in his career, I don't care. Was he better than Kobe, LeBron? I don't think he was better than Wade that year. So those are three.
Those are three. So now we got three.
Now
left.
we're going to argue: was he better than Durant or Dirk or Dwight Howard? Oh, Dwight Howard. Oh,
He was not better than Howard.
He was not better than Howard. No, not when you look at offense and defense. If you look at, no way. So now he's not better than Kobe. He's not better than Dwayne Wade. He's not better than LeBron. He's not better than Howard. So now really what we're talking about, Derrick Rose or Dirk.
Right.
Derrick Rose.
This is the 2010, 2011 season. And KD, by the way, he had led the league in scoring.
Oh, and KD, I'm sorry. I always forget about KD, that fraud.
Yeah. And KD had led the league in scoring, not for the third straight year. I'll take that back. It was the second straight year he did it.
22. He's 22 years old.
It was the second straight year he did it. Now, when I think about the league MVP, Tone, or first of all, the best player in the world, I don't think you can just be the best player in the world, Tone. I think that there's some things that you got to do first before you're the best player in the world. And Derrick Rose, he was in year 3 at that point. So I'm thinking to myself, what did Derrick Rose do? Right? What did Derrick Rose do in 2010, 2011 to be not considered, but to be the best player on the planet? I don't think he did anything. That was the first year he made the All-Pro team. That was the only year he actually made the All-Pro team, if I'm not mistaken. His team ended up going to the Eastern Conference Championship. He did win the league MVP. How he got downhill, not just how he got downhill, how he finished at the rim, dominated other guards, other league guards. What he brought to the game in terms of athleticism, I think you can make I think I can make the argument that he was one of the best players in the league. He definitely was not the best player in the league. That's number one. Then when we talk about him being a top 5 player, so a guy like KD, like I said, who at that point had led the league in scoring for the second straight year on really efficient splits. Oklahoma City was now becoming what we thought that they would become. They were a year away from making the finals. They had lost to the defending champs, the Lakers, in 5 games. And I think y'all beat them, Tone, in that 5th game in Oklahoma City on a buzzer beater by Gasol in a dogfight. So you guys were close. So what? I mean, they were getting there. It wasn't like they were a mountain away. No, they were getting there. I don't think he was better than KD. The question is Dirk didn't have the regular season that he had in the postseason that year. His postseason was way better.
But I would say that Dirk, I think I now believe it's a fight for him and Dirk. And I have KD at 7. I have KD at 7 because KD did benefit. I think Derrick Rose, the only reason he won the MVP. Let me start there. I think the only reason he won the MVP is because the Bulls won 62 games.
Yes, they did.
And I think having the best record in the league, I believe, with those 62 wins, catapulted him because listen, we're going to be splitting hairs here, but you look at his team and you're not seeing, you're not going wow by the team that surrounded him in Chicago.
Right.
So I think you see that roster and you go 62 wins. Okay. So let's start there. I think that's why he won it but now we're talking about best. So I see a guy in Kevin Durant who had a really good team in OKC. And does that help make his life easier? Help them get to, I believe they had 57 wins, 55 wins, something like that.
In 2011, in 2011, I think Oklahoma City, I think they were the third.
They were the number. They won their division. They were first in their division, but I believe they were
55 games. They won 55 games.
55? Okay, so 55. But that's a good roster. So do I knock him for having a good roster? A little bit. I think Dirk doing what Dirk did and leading that team, and maybe I'm swayed because I know what happens in the playoffs. I'll admit that. But in the regular season, they still won 57 games. They finished in their division, I think, second to the Spurs. And I don't think I think he had a similar supporting cast to Derrick Rose. I think
that Bulls team, though, Tone. We have to give that Bulls team a lot more credit than we do. I mean, Carlos Boozer was an all-star.
Yeah,
Luol Deng was an all-star.
I think we don't give them credit for
sure. They had
a
good team. They had a damn good team that year, right? And he might not have made the all-star team that year, but he was a damn good player.
Well, you can make the same case, though. The Mavs had a veteran in Jason Kidd, a defensive player of the year in Tyson Chandler, a great role player in Jason Terry. Like they had some pieces too.
Right.
Well, Sean Marion, I think, is on that team as at that point a defensive kind of guy. That being said, I'm still torn. I definitely go in no particular order: Kobe, LeBron, Dwight, and Wade.
I'm keep going, Tone. Keep going.
And so I flip back and forth between MVP because I think MVP Derrick Rose over KD because he has better supporting cast. But in terms of the best player, even at 22, I think KD's better. I think KD's 5. I think Derrick Rose is 6 and Dirk is 7. So I have him 6. You can make a case. You can make a case for him at 5. I think you can make that case because I think Dirk is 7 now. As I eliminate the playoffs, because I think that was holding me with Dirk. If I eliminate the playoffs, Dirk is 7. It's a 5-6 for KD and Derrick Rose. I'm gonna go KD.
Interesting.
Who you going?
I got Derrick Rose at 6. I got him outside the top 5.
Okay, you have the same. Okay, so you have the same. Do you have KD at 5 as well?
I got him out. I got in 2011. I got James at 1. I got James, Bryant, KD, Dirk, Wade. Nope. Howard, Wade, Rose.
Who's 7?
Did I leave somebody out?
You left somebody out.
There he is.
There he is.
So I got.
What are those things that listen to you in the office? What are they called? Bugs or microphones? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the man, bro.
What's up, brother? What's up, brother? Mets, METS Mets, baby.
That's your team, no?
Mets.
That's
yes,
his
sir.
Team. His team, the Mets.
Fan. Yes, sir.
What are you guys ranking?
We're ranking the top 5 players of 2010, 2011.
You know it's food upstairs, right? Just so you know.
Food upstairs. So who you got? Where does Derrick Rose fit in this list? LeBron in 2010, 2011. LeBron.
His MVP year?
His MVP, yes. He knows. LeBron, Kobe, Howard, Dirk, Wade, Rose. Hold on. Durant, LeBron, Wade, Kobe, Rose, Dirk. Oh, and Howard, and Dwight Howard.
I think we go Kobe 1. Oh, in 2010-11. Okay. So LeBron 1.
LeBron 1.
At that time.
Okay.
Kobe 2.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose 3.
3. Okay. Good job.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you.
Appreciate you. LeBron 1.
Sorry.
Anytime LeBron is 1, you're thrown out.
He
was better. Okay. In that year. Okay. He's honest, at least. I can't brainwash him.
You can't do it, Tony. And I see you trying too. You've been trying to do it, and it's not working at all. So if the guys that I had James, Bryant, KD, Wade, Dirk, Howard. He's 7. I don't think he was better than any of them dudes, to be honest with you, Tone.
Who's 7?
Derrick Rose. I don't think he was better than any of them dudes. None of them. I don't think he was better than any of them. I actually had a conversation about this earlier.
Are you doing the same thing? Are you doing what I did? Are you remembering Dirk's playoff run though?
That's what I'm doing. That's why
I had Rose at 7, and then when I took the playoffs out, it moved him to 6 and dropped Dirk to 7.
That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about the regular season because Dirk wasn't great in the regular season. Year.
Well,
he was not great. He was not great in the regular season. I'm doing it in totality. I'm not doing it. Okay, it was just 2010, 2011 regular season. No, I can't do that. That's why I'm going off everything that happened that year. And I know that the Lakers got swept by Dallas in the West Finals. I mean, the West semis. I do know that. I know that the Heat lost in the NBA Finals with both James and Wade. I do know that. But if I'm putting all of that stuff together, what Dwight Howard did in the regular season and in the postseason, I mean, he finished second in the league in Defensive Player of the Year. He finished second in the league in league MVP votes that year. I actually think he should have won the league MVP that year, considering what Orlando was with him on the floor. I think he should have actually won the league MVP that year. They finished fourth in the East. He was a double-double machine. He was the best defensive player in the league. I pushed Dirk over the top off the strength of what Dirk had done in totality.
Yeah. And that's fair. And it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I just, for the mathsketball, I do like that term. For the basketball fans, just remember, this is considered not great for Dirk. Okay. Which will tell you a little bit about Dirk. 23, 7, and 3. Half a block, half a steal. On 52, 40, and 89 shooting splits.
Come on, bitch. So he's almost a 50, 40, 90 guy in the regular season. He went 23 and 7. You kidding me, Tone? What are we doing with this guy? Man, stop playing, yo. Oh my,
he might be he might be one of the most disrespected superstars.
If you think about it. If you think about it. But I got more for you, Tone. I got more for you.
I like that one.
I got more for you, Tone. How about we fast forward the clock? I mean, how about we rewind the clock back to 2005, Tone? Is Steve Nash a top 5 player in the game in 2005? And I'm going to run off some names for you before you answer that. Diesel.
04-05 season.
04-05. It's his first league MVP.
Okay.
Diesel, Duncan, Bryant, KG, Iverson, Tracy McGrady.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is what I'm thinking. If I'm not, I don't think Iverson led the league in scoring that year. And
he did.
Did he lead the league in scoring that year?
He was the only 30-point scorer in the NBA.
So he led the league in scoring that year. I don't think Philly made the playoffs that year, though. I don't think that they made the playoffs
that's
that
for MVP that matters, but for best player that doesn't. But yes,
Tracy McGrady, he's now in Houston. Tracy McGrady's not in Orlando anymore. Tracy McGrady, that was his first season in Houston. He's still Tracy McGrady. Still, we already know who Shaq and Steve Nash.
Just sorry, I'm looking it up because I want to make sure we're correct. They did make the playoffs. They lost in the first round to the Pistons.
So they did make the playoffs.
They did make the playoffs.
It was one of them years that they didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. So
I wasn't sure.
Shaq and Steve Nash, they both finished 1 and 2 in league MVP votes. Now, there are some people who will tell me that I think Phoenix won 64 games that year. They were rolling. I mean, they had won 64 games. Miami, they were at the top of the Eastern Conference also. Shaq was 20. Even though Shaq wasn't what he was in better shape. He was 22 and I think he was 22 and 9 that year. I think he was in the top 3 in the league. Yeah, I think he was in the top 3 in the league in field goal percentage. His free throw percentage wasn't great, but he was one of the main reasons why Miami was at the top of the East. Again, still one of the most dominant big men in the game. I mean, KG had won the league MVP the year before that, and he was dragging those Minnesota teams to the playoffs. They had just lost in the Western Conference Championship, and he was the league MVP the year before that. So, in 2005, of those 6 guys, who is Steve Nash better than?
None.
So he's not a top 5 player.
No.
None of them dudes.
No. Steve Nash. I love Steve Nash. I love his game.
Sure.
However, I think Shaq was kind of, everyone kind of brings him down a notch because we don't look at that season. We look at Shaq versus other Shaqs. And that's why we're like, and we're going to talk more about doing this, by the way, in a minute. Yep. So I think we look at that Shaq in Miami and go, well, he's not Laker Shaq. He's definitely not Orlando Shaq. Mm-hmm. So he's less than his previous set. We're comparing him against himself and saying, well, he's not as good as his previous versions of himself. Therefore, we bring him down. Then we say, oh, but he has Dwayne Wade, and we knock him down because Dwayne Wade is, I think, he's a top 10 scorer, right? I think he was 8th or 9th in scoring that year.
Yep.
So we bring him down a notch. But when I look at best player, Iverson was better, Kobe was better, Tracy McGrady was better. Who was your list? Tell me your list. Shaq was better. Duncan was better.
KG.
And KG was better.
What's the case for
And,
Tracy McGrady?
and let's keep in mind, before we get to the Tracy McGrady, he also had Amari Stoudemire, who was a top 5 scorer that season. And now some will say chicken or the egg. Was he scoring because of Nash? Was Nash getting the assist because of him?
Well, we got to take that off the table because
you always get that. You always get that.
Of course, we have to, but we now have to take that off the table because the next year he didn't have Stoudemire the whole season and he won the league MVP again. So consider, I have to consider.
We're just talking about at that season.
Well, we're just talking about the 04-05 season. That's
Yes.
all we're talking about. We ain't talking about the next season.
Yeah.
Now, when I think about Tracy McGrady, I think about efficiency because we talk about numbers, right? I think about efficiency, and Tracy McGrady has never really been an efficient scorer. I'm probably in the minority. I think he's an overrated scorer, to be quite honest with you. But with that being said,
you're not going to get it from me.
Yeah, with that
I'm
being
the guy who
said,
said he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. So
with that being said, I think that season he was 26-8, 26-7, and he did make the All-Pro team. Houston did make the playoffs. He did get them to the playoffs. But when I think about how he affected that unit, don't forget Yao was on that team in Houston, right? With Yao being on that team, that gives him a dynamic that he didn't have. Steve Nash has Sean Marion. He's got Barbosa. He's got the kid that used to play for San Antonio. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Raja Bell.
Not he had Raja Bell too, but the French dude. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Heavyset guy. Oh man, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Boris Diaw.
Boris Diaw. That's who I'm thinking about. And Steve Nash was the engine for that crew. Tracy McGrady was primarily the bucket getter on that Houston team. Does that make him, because he was primarily the bucket getter, does that make him better? Excuse me, Tone. Does that make him better? Because when I think about the defense between Tracy McGrady and Steve Nash, I do think there's a huge gap. But I think offensively, how much more, one, efficient, how much more important was Steve Nash to Phoenix than Tracy McGrady was to Houston?
That's the MVP conversation. And that I agree with you. I agree. Nash over McGrady if you're talking MVP.
Right.
But if you're starting a team and you're saying, well, I'm going to pick the best player.
That's Tracy McGrady.
You're not picking Nash. You're not.
Nash over Tracy McGrady. I'm not.
You're not doing it. I'm not saying, and again, it's not a knock to Nash,
right.
But even in 04, I'm taking Iverson, Kobe, LeBron, Dirk, Tracy. Am I taking Vince Carter, Wade? Like there's I'm taking Shaq. I'm taking that version of Shaq for just that one season. Let's be very clear.
Mm-hmm.
As the best player, just be clear. We're talking best player.
Sure.
But interesting thing though. Interesting thing.
And I got one more for you, Tone. One more.
When I talk about before you tell me the year, let me just say one last thing. It's an interesting thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So statistically, right? We're looking at it when he's not the best. When we watch with our eyes, he's not the best.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something interesting. Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
How many games did they win that season?
I think like 64 games, something crazy like that.
62 games. The only team to win 60 or more games. Is it odd that it's the exact number, 62, and the only team to win 60 plus games as it was for Derrick Rose?
How about that, Tone? Think about that for a second. That's pretty interesting.
So are they telling us something?
Winning matters. Winning does matter. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Both of those guys I think those are maybe two of the more controversial MVP winners. They both led teams to 62 wins and the only teams that won over 60 games that season. Blazers. There you go.
How about that?
You have another year. You have another year.
One more year, Tone. One more year, and we can move on. In 2021, was Joker a top 5 player in the game? I'm going to run down some names for you, Tone, and then I'll let you answer.
In 2021, that was his
first league MVP.
Okay.
That was his first league MVP. I'm going to run down some names for you.
Yeah.
James, Giannis, Curry, KD, Leonard. And I left out James Harden.
Yeah, you should. Interesting. So in 2021.
Yep. 2021, Tone.
That's the 2021 season.
Yep. That was the year after the bubble. Just to refresh your memory. That was the year after the bubble. Giannis goes.
I think that's Giannis's best season.
That was the year.
Best season.
That was the year they won the NBA championship. He goes, I think he went 17 for 18 from the stripe. He scored 50 in the closeout game. Now here's the thing, Tone. That was the year after KD is coming off that Achilles injury.
Yep. So KD's not there.
KD is coming off that Achilles injury. I think he only played 37 games that year. However, he got busy, very much like Dirk. He got busy in the playoffs. That was that year that he did what he did against Milwaukee when his foot was on the line. So he did do that in the postseason. He got busy. James got hurt that year too. That was after the bubble. He had I forgot the guy from Atlanta who fell on his ankle.
That's 72. What's that? And that's a shortened season too, right?
It was only 72 games, not 82.
Interesting. Okay, so let's look at these guys. So is he better than in that season?
That season.
Is he better than Giannis? The answer is no.
In 2021, he's not better than Giannis.
He's not better than Giannis. Is he better than
James?
Listen, let me go back a step and say, okay, is he better than James? No. Who? Tell me your list again. Just let's. I'll do yes, no on the list. Let me go through the list.
James.
No.
KD.
Yes.
Giannis.
No.
Curry. Leonard.
No. Where's Joel Embiid? Joel Embiid should have won the MVP that year.
And I didn't mention Joel Embiid because I didn't have Joel Embiid up there at that point. I didn't think
he was my MVP winner that year.
In 21?
Yeah.
That was the year. I think he led he ain't lead the league in scoring in 21. He led the league in scoring in 22.
Yeah, no, but I had Embiid over Jokic at that point.
Right. So not necessarily as the league MVP, but you did have him ahead of him as a player.
I had him ahead of Jokic as a player, yes.
As a player.
So I would say
you got Joker behind Embiid as a player at the end.
Let's be clear. I'm saying back at that moment in time.
In 2021, we ain't talking about moving forward, Tone. At the end of the 2021 season, you have Embiid.
I had Joel Embiid.
James. These are just guys ahead of him at this point.
Ahead of him. Yeah.
Yep. Joel Embiid, James. Is Leonard ahead of him?
Yes.
Leonard is ahead of him. This the same Leonard who tore up his knee in the playoffs that year.
But this is before the playoffs. We're talking regular season, right?
Because I do it in totality.
Regular season, because we're talking about regular season. So in the regular season, didn't he plays? They lost. What you call it? They lost him in the playoffs. Yeah, he only played 50 something games. Was that just because
they were managing him?
So let me leave Leonard for a second. Let me put him on pause because availability is an ability.
Yep.
So I've got Curry, LeBron, Embiid, Giannis over him. So now I feel like I'm doing Derrick Rose again. So now I've got Jokic, Leonard. I'll give Jokic 5. I'll give Jokic 5 because Leonard.
I'm thinking I got, and KD was in best player in the league talks at that point, but he broke down. He had the hamstring injury, right? He had the hamstring injury at that point, so he had broke down. He only played half the season. So like when we're talking about again, Tone, we're talking about availability. Health is very
It's
very important in
Yeah,
that,
it's important.
right? KD had missed half the season. So is KD ahead of Joker at the end of the 2021 season? I don't think so.
Not only because of injuries, no.
Right.
And that's easy even with Kawhi. I think Kawhi, if he plays 60 of those 72 games, I maybe say he's ahead of him too, but I think he only played, like I said, 52, 53 games. You can't miss 20 games out of a 70 game season. Just it's too much for me. It's too much.
Those are the three. Those are the three that I thought about, Tony. And I'm thinking, because I saw that, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I know who the best player in the game is, but I also wanted to expand that with you if we had time. Because Tone, what I did was I went back over the last 25 years, so since the 99-2000 season, how many guys have won the league MVP who were the best player in the league? So
Right.
if you think about it,
those are the three that you came up with that might not even be top 5.
that might not even be top 5.
And I think Jokic was the only one that we had at 5, and he was at 5.
I think everybody else was out.
I think everybody else was out too.
I think everybody else is out. And then what I did was I ran down over the course of the last 25 years, how many players were the best player in the league? Like in 99-2000, Shaq was the best player in the game. In 2001, was Iverson the best player in the game, Tone?
I love Allen Iverson. I don't think he was ever the best player in the game.
Never the best player in the game. In 2002, was Duncan the best player in the game, Tone?
Arguably, I would have picked, I would say Kobe, but I know that I'm biased.
Sure. How about in 2003, Tone? Is Duncan the best player in the game?
Yes.
I think he's the best player in the game in 2003. How about in 2004? Is KG the best player in the game?
Man, he might be.
To be honest with you, Tone,
he might be. We don't give him now. I get it. He was on a horrible team.
Sure.
I think KG is, and I've always said this. I said any great player can play in any era, but I think KG, if you put him in any other era, previous or post his career, he gets way more seen, way more respect for what he could do and who he was as a player.
I won't argue that.
I think his style almost was the worst possible style for that slow-paced game that he was in those early 2000s. He would eat in today's NBA.
What does KG look like in 1982?
Oh,
right.
he's
think about the four man.
Yeah, because he is doing just, I saw a video the other day and they're like, if KG would have taken one step back, he would have been a top 10 scorer all time because he shoots so many of these really long twos.
Right.
And then, of course, I killed him with math and I said, no, because here's the thing. KG shot a ridiculous for his career. And we have the stats because they started keeping track of this the year actually that he started. So we have his whole career. From 16 feet to the 3-point line, 45.7%.
Damn good mid-range game for a 4 man. That's a damn good mid-range game for a 4 man.
We're talking, right? Yes. So if he takes that one step back, and so let me see if I can remember the math. So I did the math and I said of those 16 to 3 to the 3-point line, he shot approximately so he shot 21,472 field goal attempts in his career.
Right.
You can tell that
of course.
Of those, about 32% of them were from that distance, 16 to 3 feet. So about just over 6,000. So 6,000 he hit, and we do the math, right? He hit 45%. So if you take those 6,000 shots, move them to the 3-point line where he shot 27%, he actually scores less points. And don't forget, on those threes, he's only going to get fouled 1% of the time. On those long range twos, not as high as the 15% of in the paint, but he'll get fouled 8 to 10% of the time. So now his field goal numbers or his free throw numbers also go down. So he actually, now the argument against would be, well, if he shot more threes, he'd start hitting a higher percentage. However, I can't live on hypotheticals. Right. I can only live in reality where I know what he shot from the 3-point line, and maybe that's why he didn't take that extra step back. So to answer your question, I got a 7-foot defensive menace hitting 47% from that mid range, which is where those guys lived.
Yep.
He's an MVP candidate every single season.
Dragging the big man away from the basket because you got to come out here and deal with me. And
Whoever is his center, because whatever team he's on is going to have a center because everybody did have a center.
Correct.
His center's eaten too because now my my power forward has pulled that defender out.
Right. So you told me, Kate. So you telling me KG in 04. I'm thinking it's between KG, Duncan, and Bryant at that point.
Listen, I'm going to pick Bryant every single year, but I'm going to be fair and say, okay.
Okay, so in 05, I think it's Duncan. Nash won the league MVP that year, but I think Duncan's the best player in the game. 06.
Again, I say Kobe.
Everybody says Kobe. I think Duncan is in that conversation in 06. 07. In 07, Dirk wins the league MVP. Is Dirk the best player in the game in 07? Now, this, by the way, Tone, is that stretch where there's people who think that Kobe Bryant's the best player in the game from like 06 to 10. I don't buy that at all.
I think Kobe's in the conversation all of those years.
100%.
I don't. Dirk's another guy like Allen Iverson. I don't think he was ever the best player in the league.
Right. So
no.
08, Bryant wins the league MVP. Is he the best player in the game?
Again, I'm always going to say yes.
I think Bryant's the best player in the game in 08. In 09, it's James. Is James the best player in the game in 09?
No.
I don't think he is either. I think he is, but from what I've seen, Bryant won the league MVP the year before. The next year, he's in the NBA championship and wins the finals MVP. I think James is the best player in the game in 2009, but according to my criteria, I see what Bryant is doing, so he's not undisputed the best player in the game. Right. And when it matters. In 2010, James wins it again.
And I think I think he actually regressed in 2010. I think what happened in 09 hurt him. And then I think the losing to Orlando, I really think it affected him. I really think it affected him because I believe on November 6th, double check my date, it could be November 8th, but I believe it was November 6th.
Right.
LeBron's doing a post-game interview on the court, still in his gear. Game has just finished. And he says, next year I won't be wearing the number 23 anymore. I don't believe anyone should ever wear the number 23 again. I think that number belongs to Michael Jordan, and I'll be switching to the number 6. And I believe it was that moment, now whether it was before or after, that he was like, I'm gone out of Cleveland. And so he's still, just imagine, I think he's 99% himself, which still puts him in the conversation for best in the league.
Right.
I think there was that little like switch just kind of went, There was some moments, because I think this is the biggest compliment, and people are going to hate me for this, but I think he kind of checked out. But even checked out, he was still that good. Does that make sense?
He was
awesome. That makes sense?
Right. He was already gone. Mentally, he was already gone.
Yeah, I think he was gone mentally. I think he was like, I'm going to go through this. I'm going to do my thing, but I know that I'm gone. Yeah.
I'm out. In 2010.
And listen, there was some stuff going on, right? We found out later with the owner, with this, with that.
Yep.
So I get it too, right?
And I think Bryant was the best player in the game in 2010. Even though James had won the league,
I agree.
I think Bryant was the best player. In 2011, we just talked about Derrick Rose. In 2012, I think James is the best player in the game.
In 2012, 2013, 2014, it's James.
Right.
Yeah,
it is. Now, when we get to this, I think when we get around this time, now it gets a little trickier. So like in 2021, like we just talked about with Joker, in 2022, I mean, we talk about Joker again. There's people who will make the argument that I don't think Curry was better than Joker in 22, but I understand because of the championship. I get it, sure. And also Joel Embiid, he was also in the conversation heavily. And then this was just last season. I think they got it right. I think Joker's the best player in the world.
I think it's LeBron James.
I think so.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
The fact that we are here 21 years later, that's why KG. I mean, I think we're going to get to that in a little bit. But
remember what I said. Remember what I said about Shaq in Miami, and they were comparing him to other Shaqs.
Yes.
LeBron James isn't being compared to Joker, to Embiid, to Doncic. He's being compared to 2013 LeBron James.
Mhm.
And there's maybe one player in the history of basketball that you could compare, two players in the history of basketball that you can compare to 2013 James. So to compare himself 11 years later to
Right.
that, it's unfair to anybody.
I was about to ask you that, Tone. Is that more of a curse on him? Because
Yeah.
we see him who he is today, and a lot of people who watch him forget how good he really was because they see an older version of him, and they're basically comparing him now to the rest of the players in the league, forgetting how awesome this guy was 10 years ago, how awesome he was 12 years ago.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think they're comparing him to the other guys today. I think they're saying he's dropped off from who he was
because he was that much better.
Because he was that much better, and they're just like, well, he's not. They almost eliminate him from the conversation because they say he's not that, so he's out. And now let's look at the other guys. But with with no exceptions, and we did this before, and we're going to do it again because we're going to do our power ranking. So we'll save that conversation, but I think we'll have that conversation deeper. Let's take because we were talking about Shaq. So let me quickly pull this up from our friends, the broadcast boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to read it out to you. So don't say anything initially, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Most people probably can't read that. So let me make it a little bit bigger. So they say players who could stop Shaq today: Giannis, Thanasis, this must be clickbait, Bam, Rudy Gobert, Clint Capella, Jokic, Draymond, LeBron, Miles Turner, Kawhi, Anthony Davis.
None of them dudes could stop him.
This has to be a troll job. Who sent this to me? You.
That's a troll. That's 100% a troll job. No doubt.
I am not going to give that any more airtime.
No, that's 100% a troll job. No
so we're clear, not one of them. I'm deleting. You can't see this. I'm putting it straight into trash.
Get that out of here.
So let's get to what I really wanted to talk about. Where is this? Hold on. Oh my God, I can't. I should have looked at that. Whoever said that to me, you're dead. I do like
me, just so you know.
I do like the broadcast boys though. They're hilarious. All right, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about dad for a minute.
In the locker room.
No, we already laid that. No, he can't. We already laid that down. Cannot call me dad in the workplace. All right. Once we leave out of the private facility and the gates close, I could be dad again in the car if we ride together. Okay. At home, I could be dad. No, he got to call me like 2-3 or Brian.
Okay.
Or, GOAT if he wants to.
And just so you know, Tone, he probably says that around the house. He probably calls him GOAT around the house.
I believe.
Mm-hmm. He probably does.
I believe that's the case. But my first question is, how short are those shorts? That's my first question. My second question is, what the hell is this?
Stop. What's his name from what's the name of that show? Snowfall.
Oh, I'm not saying who is it. I'm saying what the hell's he wearing?
It's in Los Angeles. It's hot out.
So wear a t-shirt. Get out of here.
Vest on. Yeah,
those shorts are way too damn short. But that being said, I gotta ask you a question because I don't. I could be wrong on this.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. I admit, but I can't remember. I can't remember ever in all the practices, and I go to a lot of practices here. The Toronto 905 practicing with the Toronto Raptors. Does the G League affiliate typically practice with the NBA team?
Not that I'm aware of.
So how the hell is Bronny going to be in practice with LeBron?
Because he's not going to be on the G League team. He's going to be on the actual.
No, yeah, he is. Because he ain't an NBA player. He ain't an NBA player. And JJ Redick, they better if they put that kid on my team.
Mm-hmm. He's already on the team, Tone. This is not a two-way contract. Just so you know.
JJ Redick said he is in developmental process and he will be playing for our G League team. That's what he said.
We'll see about that.
That's what he said. Did he lie? Like he lied about Jameer Nelson?
Yeah. Okay. You're the one who pointed that out.
I know.
Right? You're the one. You're the one who pointed that out. So because you're the one who pointed that out, did he? Maybe, Tone. If that may be the case, and if he does play in the G League, I can tell you right now, it's going to be a lot harder. Why do I know that? Because them dudes down there in the G League are hungry, and they're going to be looking to attack him.
They want to make a name for themselves, and what better way? Remember the story I told you about how I slapped the snot out of Rick Pitino's son?
You did not tell me that, Tom.
I did because I saw a clip of it. I got to post it when we were saying our most embarrassing stories on the court. Oh, and yours was I can't remember yours. I can't remember. Oh man, I can't remember yours. But mine was when we were playing Shirts and Skins at the University of Kentucky, and his son was there, and I slapped him so hard because we had the intentional foul that I left a handprint on his back. And Rick Pitino shook his head, turned his back, and walked away.
Oh my god!
Remember that? I thought it was a long time ago.
We was in Tampa. I do remember that.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Now you remember.
Okay, I remember. All right.
So, anyways, they're going to try to make a name for themselves.
Yes, they are, Tone, 100%. And it is my job as his father to protect him. So with him,
time out. No. You got to let that die, Fluent. He wasn't lying about Nelson's take. He was talking about a different thing. No, he said that season you had no chance against us because of this, that, the other. We had Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis and Dwight Howard, the Defensive Player of the Year. Oh, and Jameer Nelson, who opened up the offense for everybody. Because
he specifically brought up Nelson. He brought him up
because he could shoot the three off the bounce. Stop. No, he's lying.
He specifically brought him up.
So I'll let you say what you got to say, but he can't be. They won't be practicing together.
Oh, Tone, 100%. That's gonna happen, man. I mean, he's gonna spend some time. Even let's say, for the sake of argument, what JJ says is correct, and he does. Let's say he does spend some time in the G League. He's not gonna be down there long because
you think he's getting called up early.
Yes, because James is going to advocate for him. There's a reason I didn't have him. I did not have him put his name in the draft and get drafted by the Lakers to play in the G League. No, if he's going to develop, he's going to develop with me being here. He's going to develop while I'm around. He's not going to develop with me having to watch him in the G League where I can't protect him. Where we can't protect him.
You want him to develop? You want him to develop? Get your Las Vegas team up and running and trade for him and play him all you want.
And sure, Tone, if we're being serious and we're being honest, I'm on record saying it. He should have stayed in school. He wasn't ready. He should have stayed in school. But the fact that he didn't, and now here we are, right? Now here we are. We're in the NBA. He has to do everything he can to now protect him. Because there's no way he's sending him after getting drafted to the Lakers, getting him sent to the G League. No way. He's gonna be fish food. They're gonna attack him any and every way possible. They're gonna go after him. And I do think that he's gonna stay down there. I do think that he's gonna spend some time down there. How much time he's gonna spend down there? I don't think it's long. I don't. I will be surprised. I will be surprised if he spent longer than a month down there. I don't think he's gonna spend that long down there, to be honest with you. To sign him to a 4-year deal for $8 million, the Lakers aren't wasting that money on him. Hell no, they're not doing that.
You know, it's interesting. It's interesting, just not to beat a dead horse, but it's interesting how many people say, well, the 55 pick, like it wasn't a waste on him. There's other guys who've had lower stats than that with the 55 pick and the 55 pick. And look how much in the last 5 years the 55 pick hasn't played, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I agreed, and I said, yeah, it's the 55 pick. You're right. I think only one player with the 55 pick has played more than like 30 games in the NBA. Except if you take the last 20 55 picks, add up how much they've gotten paid, he's getting more.
$8 million. Nope.
He's getting more versus all of them combined.
It's not $8 million.
So you're right. I guess you're right.
The guy that I remember specifically is the kid that Oklahoma City just signed to an extension. Wiggins. He was the 55th pick, I think 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Other than him, I think over the last 10 years, I think we've only had one 55th pick play. I think we've only had one 55th pick play, and I think that's the kid from Golden State. And he's been in and out of the lineup. He doesn't play nearly as much.
Mhm.
Other than that, we haven't had a lot of guys in terms of the 55th pick play. Wiggins and this kid from the kid that plays for the Warriors, and now James, who I'm pretty confident that if he does spend time in the G League, which however long he's going to be there, it's not going to be long. I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah. All right. I don't know what else I have other than. Do you have before we get into the tiers?
Yeah, we had talked about that. We had talked about that league MVP. So I'm good. Let's.
Okay.
I'm down to get into the tiers, Tone. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Oh, actually, one quick other thing, because this came up again, on my feed, and I don't know if this is new or old. However, this is from Mark Jackson saying, "I believe LeBron deserves a statue in all three places," and it's not about the statues, but it got me thinking because I saw these other guys do something, and they broke down LeBron's career, and they said. He has had 4 Hall of Fame careers. If you look at it, and he said, look, here's his first stint, his first 7 seasons in as a Cav. Here's what he did. Made an NBA final, this, that, the other thing, 2 MVPs, blah.
Sure.
That's a Hall of Fame career. Granted, our Hall of Fame, the bar is low, but then they say, okay, in Miami, he plays 4 years, goes to the NBA final 4 times, wins 2, finals MVP 2 times, 2-time MVP. He's in. Then they say he goes back to Cleveland, 4 finals, wins the finals MVP, wins a championship. Tough to argue for MVP career. Then they say LA. And this is the one that is interesting because they say, all right, he wins an NBA championship, he wins a finals MVP, and he breaks Kareem's record.
In a Laker uniform.
And I say, well, no, you can't use that because if your argument is it's a Hall of Fame career, it's only based on what you did in those seasons there. So he didn't score 40,000 points as a Laker.
No, he didn't.
So what did he do as a Laker? He scored however many points. He's averaging still phenomenal numbers, by the way.
Right.
But his legacy is missed the playoffs twice, won a championship, knocked out in the first round,
missed the playoffs.
I said missed the playoffs twice, won a championship, knocked out of the first round, swept out of the Western Conference Finals.
Missed the playoffs, didn't get to the Western Conference Championship, then swept out of the playoffs in the first round. Now, Tone, we're going into year 7 now with him.
Yeah.
Plus,
so was that a Hall of Fame career?
Now, here's the difference, though, Tone. You're a little bit different, and the reason why you're different because as a Laker fan playing for the Lakers, the bar is now risen. Okay, this isn't James playing in Toronto. This isn't James playing in Brooklyn.
Right.
For doing what he did. No, this is James playing for the Lakers. They have the most players in NBA history in the Hall of Fame.
If he did what he did for the Minnesota Timberwolves,
he'd be in the Hall of Fame.
They'd not only put him in the Hall of Fame, they'd rename the stadium. No, forget the statue. They'd rename the stadium the LeBron James Stadium.
Yes.
Yes,
they would.
But this is the Lakers, and so that's my only thing is you can't say it's 4 Hall of Fame careers and then use things that were accomplished as an accumulation of what he did in those other places. That's all I'm saying.
So your logic is okay. What I did, so what I did in Miami.
For example, KD's been in Phoenix for how long? A year? 2 years?
Yeah, this is
a year.
Last season, I think was his first season there.
So let's say he plays there 2 more years. He's going to break some record, right? He's got something. So if he breaks a record as for all time, if he breaks a record for his individual self for his career in Phoenix, does Phoenix all of a sudden is that like a Hall of Fame career and a statue? No, because he's only there for 2 years, and let's assume he does nothing. And I'm not saying he didn't do anything. He won a championship.
So over the next 3 years, Tone, he eclipses the 30,000 point mark in Phoenix.
Sure, they don't. The Phoenix doesn't build him a statue.
because he didn't get 30,000 points in Phoenix. He did not do that.
Yeah, he didn't.
Now
do
he
that.
did contribute to that, sure.
100%.
Phoenix did contribute to that.
But I'm just saying, if you're going to chop it up like that,
right,
you can't
100% Phoenix contributed to
can't,
that.
yeah, you
but
can't use it. You can't use it. You can't do it.
we can't do that. I'm not now. Let me ask you this though, Tone. Do we hang up his jersey?
You should hang him nobody's jersey. So no,
Because I know how you feel about that.
I don't want to hang up anybody's jersey.
I know how you feel about that.
The
About hanging up guys' jerseys.
only exception to my jersey rule
Mm-hmm.
is at this point. Had he never changed his number, it would be even easier. But still, at this point, and I've said this before, when James finally, when he's, I don't know, what's he going to be, 62 when he retires? When James finally retires at 62 years old,
I'm thinking 60, Tone.
At 60, hit like the number 23, half as a Bull, half as a Cavalier, even though he played other places, is lifted to all the rafters in every NBA stadium, and the number 23 is never worn again. That's the only one that I'd be like cool with, because when you have, you argue with your mama over 1 and 2, because I don't care which one you have, 1, 2. But when you can, without a doubt, and listen, I would say 95% of people would agree, if you forget the order, and they're not being haters, they're being legit, honest to God people, 95% of people, players, whatever, would say, if I told you, look, I have LeBron and Jordan 1, 2, forget the order, are you cool with that? I'd say 95% of the world's population would say, I'm in. So if you have what I will say is not even arguably the top 2 players ever in the history of basketball who wore the same number for the majority of their careers, and you say, hey, I'm going to take that number and say, I'm done. That makes complete sense. That makes complete sense to me. That one does 100%. But when you're retiring Nick Collison, Udonis Haslem, Rudy Tomjanovich, and I love Rudy T. Don't get me wrong. As you know, he was a guest on the show.
Yep.
When you're retiring all
but
these,
if you retire in the 23, Tone, then you have to also be okay with them retiring in number 6. With Bill Russell,
the number 6 is retired, so I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Now, Bill Russell is another one where I got a guy who won 11 times out of 13 seasons,
right?
Who won as the best player, but also won as not the best, as the player coach, and right, maybe arguably one of the best, if not the best, defenders of all time, and he did it in a political climate that did not fare well for a person of his melanin.
People like me.
Okay.
Yes.
And so what he did, not just on the court, but for the world in general, for people, from that standpoint, I'm 1,000,000% okay with that happening. 1,000,000%. So that's why I say there's exception. When I say nobody's jersey, maybe I roll it back a little bit and say very few jerseys, because I love, last time I'm going to say it, and then we're going to do a super chat. I love the Ring of Honor. I love that. You go into let me I don't know, let me think. You go into Boston and you're given the number 33, man, you better be good.
Hell yeah, you better. I don't even want to. I'm starting to get
exactly. As a player, you're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, hell no, I don't want to wear that.
A very special player would say, I'll take it. Right? Like when I see, you won't even know this name. When I see, Jorge Garbajosa dropping the number 15 in Toronto, I'm like, no, dude, I love you, but no, you can't live up to what Vince did here. You know what I mean? And that's why I say I don't want them to retire his number, but he should definitely be honored.
Wouldn't that be more reason to hang it up though, Tone? But I think I know where you're coming from, because your logic is it takes a special player to say, I'm going to wear 23.
Yeah.
It takes a special player to say, I'm going to wear 34 in Houston. It takes a special player to say that he's going to do that. However, more players than not see that jersey and go, nah, I don't know. I don't want to wear that. Nope, I'm not doing that. To think about in Boston to put on the number 6. To think about in Boston to put on the number 33. Wow. The honor, right? Not just the honor, but what you got to live up to if you're going to wear 33. Because people will roast you. Man, take that jersey off. Take that jersey off. You ain't good enough to put that jersey on. No, you take that jersey off. Hell no, not you. You are not nice enough to wear 33. So that's where the divide comes with me, because I'm thinking, even though it does take a special kind of player to wear that jersey, I don't think that special kind of player would even want to. I mean, like Bryant didn't wear 23. Why didn't Bryant wear 23 with the Lakers? He had an opportunity to do that. We knew who he was. We knew what the end goal was with him. Why didn't he wear 23? Right? Why didn't?
Well, I would say Kobe. I would say Kobe did it because he was trying to say he's one better than.
He was trying to one up Jay.
Yeah.
He was trying to one up him.
I'm trying to find a picture of it because it's going to look so weird. But I believe there's this article that I read, Norm Van Leer, wearing number 23 for Chicago in 1972. And there was this thing that showed like all these like iconic numbers, but being worn by other people on that team first. It's just, it looks weird. So I just, this, you know,
kind of like seeing other people wearing the number 34 in Milwaukee. I've seen that.
It's right. There's just,
even though Ray Allen wore the number 34 in Milwaukee, but as the other guys who I saw wear 34 in Milwaukee, it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be wearing that. Not
exactly.
You.
All right. So
you shouldn't be wearing that.
I don't think I've seen a super chat from Angie Carr in a minute. Angie Carr, Fluent and Chill. Not on Fluent and Chill. Fluent and Chill, not on Fluent and Chill. What is the world coming to? Evening, gentlemen. Been a while. So I knew. Hope y'all doing fine. Batiam bench. Remember that when I said we're super close, we're tight friends, like Batiam bench. And they're like, and they thought, they're like, you're not Guyanese. I know. Thank you for that. One more from Angie. I like that Fluent. Like what Simeon High School in Chicago does with number 25. That was Ben Wilson's, and apparently is given to the best player on the team. Yeah, see?
Nick Anderson wore it. Derrick Rose wore it too. Derrick Rose wore number 25 too.
See, it's an honor to wear that number. It sets a level of expectation. Hey, let me ask you a question. If you had to pick between these three numbers, 4 numbers, I'm going to give you 4 numbers. 30, because your favorite player is Steph Curry. 77, because you believe Luka's the best player in the NBA. 6, because it's your favorite number. And 20, because you're second to none. Which would be your first choice?
It wouldn't be 30. I'm going to pass on 30. And I played in the backcourt, so maybe the number 6. Yeah, maybe number 6. 77 just like a big man number. I'm not a big man. No.
I like the 20. I like the second to none thing, but Fluent Jr. He's always has his number 30 for Steph. But a little trivia, and then we're gonna jump into our tiers.
Yep.
Can you name? I know you can, but I'm still gonna do it. Okay, wait. You get to pick which question. You have to pick which question. NBA or geography?
Of course, I'm gonna take NBA. I was falling. I passed geography. Let's just say that.
The geography question is tough one too. It's okay. Well, we'll save it for another day.
Give me both of them, Tone. What you got?
Okay, I'll give you the geography question first. Well, wait. Do you want to get it right or wrong first?
I don't care.
All right, let's do. I have the geography one up. All right.
Okay.
Name the 10 provinces of Canada.
The 10 provinces of Canada. Okay. The British Columbia.
British Columbia.
British Columbia. What is the place over in why am I drawing a blank on this? The place in the Nordiques.
Yeah. The
Nordiques.
That's not it. But yes,
no.
That team is called the Nordiques.
I'm looking right at it. It's right next to Vermont.
It is.
Yeah, what the hell? It's anyway, the British Columbia. Let's see. Vancouver's a city, so that's not
Vancouver's a city in British Columbia. Yeah,
that's not a province. Edmonton.
Edmonton
No,
is a city.
that's a city also, so that's not a Winnipeg is also a city.
Winnipeg is also a city.
That Winnipeg is not that doesn't work. Tone, why am I drawing a blank? Calgary is also a city.
You're doing good with the cities, but
yeah, I'm doing great with the cities. I'm drawing a blank, Tone. I'm sorry.
Quebec is the one you're thinking of way over there. Ontario is where Toronto is in.
Yeah.
British Columbia, you got 4 times.
That's where
New Brunswick, Saskatchewan,
yeah,
Manitoba, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Alberta, and Newfoundland. And then we also have the Yukon, Northwest Territories, and none of it. So there's also some territories.
Right.
But yes, you got 1 out of 10. That's a. I was expecting you to go 4 of 6, and I was going to make a LeBron joke.
Right. So Edmonton.
Edmonton is in Alberta. Edmonton is in Alberta.
Alberta. That's what I'm thinking about. And the reason why I know that is because when I was in college, my neighbors were from Alberta. That's why I knew that.
Come on, and you got that wrong?
Yeah.
Man, okay. Here's the one that to save face now. The 5 NBA teams that have never made an NBA Finals appearance
ever. Like they've never been to the NBA.
Never been to the NBA Finals.
So the Clippers never been there, not one time.
I think you mean the Buffalo Braves, but okay.
The Buffalo Braves and the Clippers have never been there one time. The Cincinnati Royals and the Sacramento Kings have never been there one time.
They have. The Royals have.
When did they go to the NBA Finals?
A long time ago.
When did they go to the Finals?
You're right. You got the Clippers.
Okay. Minnesota never been to the NBA Finals.
Minnesota's never been to the NBA Finals.
Let's see. Who else has never been to the NBA Finals? Let's see. Memphis has never been to the NBA Finals.
The Memphis / Vancouver Grizzlies have never been to the NBA Finals.
They've never been to the NBA Finals.
Correct.
Let's see. Who else am I thinking about? Hang on. There's some other teams that I'm thinking about. Dallas just went to the NBA championship. San Antonio just went to the NBA championship. Houston just went to the NBA championship. Washington went to the NBA championship. Charlotte has never been to the NBA Finals.
Charlotte is for the Hornets.
And the Atlanta Hawks have never been to the NBA Finals.
Atlanta Hawks have been to the NBA Finals.
They actually won the NBA championship. They were the St. Louis Hawks. I take that back. I'm sorry. Let's rewind that. No, that's
they
not true.
Beat Bill Russell.
Yes, they beat Bill Russell. I keep forgetting. That's right. That's that. They weren't. So Charlotte.
That was the only team, right? Bob Pettit to ever beat Russell in the finals.
Nobody else beat him. In the finals, Chamberlain beat him. Yeah, Chamberlain beat him. That's correct. Let's see who has not been to the NBA Finals, because I'm at 4. Right, I'm at 4. So the Eastern Conference: Toronto, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Washington, the Knicks, the Nets. We already said Atlanta. We already said Charlotte. Miami's been to the NBA championship. Orlando's been to the NBA championship. Indiana's been to the NBA championship. Detroit's been to the NBA championship. Indiana, Detroit, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Chicago, all 5 of them have been to the NBA championship. In the Western Conference, in the Trailblazers have been there. Oklahoma City has been there because they were Seattle and they were in the NBA championship. Let's see. Minnesota has not been there. Portland was there. Utah was there. Who am I drawing a blank on? Denver has been there. Phoenix has been there. Golden State's been there. Sacramento's been there. Dallas has been there. San Antonio has been there. Houston's been there. Who am I leaving out? The Pels?
You got it.
Okay.
The Pelicans.
All right.
You found.
Took me long enough, right?
Yes, the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, the Clippers, the Timberwolves, and the Hornets. I thought I knew you'd get it. I thought you'd get it quicker. I knew you'd get it, but there's some tricky ones because, like, I believe like you said, the Hawks, not as Atlanta.
Atlanta, St. Louis.
Yeah, it was St. Louis. I believe the Royals were like Rochester.
Rochester. Yes, that was them. They went from Rochester to Cincinnati, from Cincinnati to Kansas City, from Kansas City to Sacramento. Yeah.
And then eventually become the Kings. So technically, that's interesting. I feel like when you change cities, especially when you change names,
right.
If you stay the same, like Vancouver to Memphis, you keep the history. Minneapolis to LA, you keep the history.
Right.
I think when you go from Seattle to OKC Thunder, like if they were the OKC Supersonics, I feel better about keeping the history about it. But when you change cities and names, and especially that one where it's your Rochester Royals, Cincinnati Royals, Kansas City Royals, Sacramento, man, that's not the same franchise. Like, I get it is, but anyway.
Which would explain why Gary Payton said, "You're not hanging up my jersey in Oklahoma City," because I never played in Oklahoma City. No.
And I respect him for that.
I do 100%. I do, Tom. Yes, I do.
Right. Now we will get into bam. So this my friends, boys and girls.
Oh boy,
this is our tier list. So we're going to go through as many of these as we can. I might skip a couple if they don't belong, because really what I want to try to get is a top 10 list. So if they're not top 10, I'm just going to dump them. So S tier being the top 5, A, B, C, and D for tier list. I'm just going to run through names.
Yep.
You do one, I do one, you do one, I do one. Okay. We place them where we believe. Bam Adebayo.
A.
I'm going to put Giannis in S. This is Paulo Banchero. I'm moving him to the back of the list because, let's be honest, this is that dude from Desmond Bain, who's not on the list. Devin Booker.
A.
In front or behind Bam?
Behind Bam.
Behind Bam. Mikal Bridges.
C.
Tyrese Halliburton.
That's not Halliburton. That's that's
who is that?
Dude that played for the Celtics and played with the Trailblazers, Rookie of the Year, Malcolm Brogdon. That's who that is.
Oh, then we're gonna throw him out. Wow, that looked. Are these as small for you as they are for me? Jaylen Brown. I'm gonna put him in B tier.
I'm cool with that.
Jalen Brunson is yours.
I think he's a B player that had an A year, but I'm gonna put him in A because I think that.
And where in A?
I ain't putting him ahead of Bam. Nope. You could put him at a book.
Ahead of book?
Nope. No. Put him behind book. Behind
book. Okay. I can't. Just so you know, if you see anything in the chat, let me know because I cannot see the chat. Jimmy Buckets. At this point in his career,
B.
Steph Curry, that's yours.
I think Steph Curry's still an A player.
Where?
I had a book.
But behind Bam?
No, I had a Bam too.
Had a Bam too. All right. Anthony Davis. You can have Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis is an A player.
Where?
Behind Curry.
That bumps Jaylen Brown out of the top 10, just so we're clear. DeMar DeRozan.
C. I'll put him ahead of Mikal.
Put him ahead? Okay. I won't. Luka Doncic.
He's at the top.
He now moves to 1.
Cool.
Kevin Durant.
I'll put him ahead of Bam.
No, he's staying right there at D. That's what you get.
Stop, Tone.
No, Tony. This is for Tony Durant. That's what you get for writing me angry DMs. Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards he's an A player. He's behind. He's ahead of. Book should be ahead of Bam too, by the way. Yeah, Book should be ahead of Bam, and Anthony Edwards is in between Bam and Book.
And I'm gonna veto and put him there because I think Anthony Edwards is the best shooting guard in the game, so I got to put him ahead of Book. Joel Embiid
at the top.
Before or after Luka?
I think he's behind both of those guys.
Okay. The only reason I agree with you is because of health.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Like, I think if it wasn't for health, he might be like one of those that we're having a conversation that I don't know that he has a flaw.
For the record, Chad, I don't think Anthony Edwards is better than Book yet. I don't think he's there yet. I think he's getting close, but I don't think he's there yet. That's Tone who thinks he's there.
Yes, that is me, and I've got control of the cursor. Ha ha. De'Aaron Fox,
B.
Paul George.
I think Paul George.
SGA.
A.
Paul George was my turn. I get the pick. You've got him A.
SGA is at the top.
At the top, okay. Behind here.
Yes.
Okay. Rudy Gobert.
B.
Where?
Behind those guys.
Behind those guys. Okay. Chat. So I'm trying to go through this quickly with not as much conversation as we normally would have, because once it's completed and we have really we're focused on the top 10 or 15, then we're going to have a discussion and bring you guys on. There's Halliburton. Yes. Okay.
Halliburton's I think he's B. I think he's behind De'Aaron Fox.
But you have Halliburton ahead of Gobert. Yes.
Yes, I do.
Okay. LeBron.
What are you doing?
What?
Good. I'm sorry.
Who? Which one of those players should be? Because really, we're focusing on S, A, and B.
Okay.
So, do any of those players make it into there?
No, they don't.
Okay.
No, none of them.
No disrespect to any of them. LeBron James, I'm going to put him where he belongs, right here. Nikola Jokic.
Put him right at the top in front of all of them dudes. Not him.
Kawhi Leonard.
Up. Not him. Put him in front of your man.
I'm vetoing. LeBron James is the best player in the NBA.
Leonard is
down on that one.
Leonard is I would
are we assuming they're all healthy? Okay, where are you putting him? He's yours. Wherever you want.
C.
Ahead of DeMar, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, who I love, Maxey, Chris Middleton, Donovan Mitchell.
He's ahead of Book and Anthony Edwards.
John Morant, Gisante, Jamal Murray, Porzingis. Is there anybody left here that you would put somewhere? Oh, here we go. Hold on. This dude right here?
Yeah, that dude right there at the top.
None of these other guys, right? Not Randall, Sabonis,
Siakam.
Siakam. Would you put Siakam in A or B?
I would not put Siakam in A or B. No, I wouldn't.
Okay, where you got Tatum?
I got him ahead of SGA and Joel Embiid.
And wow. Wow. Okay, that's yours. Hold on, Red Vliet.
Yep.
Sorry, Fred. Wemby. Does Wemby rank?
Yeah, Wemby is. I think he's behind Rudy. I think he's behind.
I'm putting him ahead of Rudy. I'm putting him ahead of Rudy because this is projecting for this season now, not
projected for the season. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think he leapfrogs Rudy. Zion.
C.
At the end of C, beginning of C.
Right in front of Leonard.
Right in front of Leonard. Okay.
Right behind Leonard. I'm sorry.
Right behind
Leonard.
Derrick Derek White, Trae Young.
I had Trae Young in front of Halliburton too. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And nobody else. Ball, Cade, Banchero, no, right?
Mm.
Okay. So is there anyone that you believe that's not in this top 6, 12, 18 that needs to be there?
That does not need to be there.
No, that needs to be there.
That needs to be there.
Is there anyone not in that top 18 that should be there?
Yes, KD should be up there.
Okay, where should KD be? Fine, I'll give it.
KD should be in the A tier. I'll put KD in between Anthony Davis and Steph Curry. And you had somebody else down there too. Let's see here. Let me see who else. Yeah, that's. I think Paul George is a top 20 player in the game too. Yeah, I think Paul George is a top 20. Well, I don't think James Harden's a top 20 player in the game today. Nope, I don't think that. Mm-mm.
These guys are all coming out then, because we're not doing it. We are gonna
now you saying at the end of the season, Damian Lillard also is another one, Tone. I think Dame. I think he plays.
Where would you put Dame?
I'm not gonna put him ahead of Ja because I think Ja. I think Ja plays himself back into where he was previous. I'm out on the Clippers, Tone. Take Leonard off that crew, man. I'm out on the Clippers.
Bam.
I'm out on the Clippers.
We're out on the Clippers, and we're gonna put Dame in here.
Yes.
All right, there you go.
I'm good with that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so move LeBron out of the S and put him at A behind Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Incorrect. Mars, what this is next season's power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna zoom in a little. Can you see that better? Is that better now?
I'm good.
All right. So, what do we have? We got ads. Get out of here. Come on, man.
Yep. Oh boy.
Oh.
How we get that? There we go.
Boo to the ads. You know what? You know what though?
Can you shrink it? Can you shrink it some more?
No, I can outsmart. I can outsmart the machine. Check this out. Bam. I'm smarter than the average bear, you know.
Yes, you are.
Hold on now. All right. Let's go back to. Let's do this one. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. So starting. Let's just do the top 12.
So at the top.
We're going to eliminate the B and C tier. We're going to eliminate the B and C tier. We're just going to look at the top 12.
Yeah.
So I have, because I know that I made some changes that you didn't necessarily agree with. LeBron at 1, Jokic at 2, Luka at 3, Giannis at 4, Tatum at 5, Joel Embiid at 6, SGA at 7, Curry at 8, KD I don't have, but at 9, Anthony Davis at 10. I personally would move Anthony Davis into the top 10, and I would just flip Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant. That's what I would do.
So the first thing I'm doing is moving James 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll put him ahead of Curry. I'll put him ahead of Curry. That's as far as I'm going. Flip Anthony Edwards and Donovan Mitchell. Flip Anthony Edwards and bring in Flip Anthony Edwards and Donovan Mitchell. Move James down ahead of Curry. In addition to moving James down ahead of Curry, this list is looking a little bit better. Let's see. I don't know about. I think Bam is a top 12 player in the league, top 20 player in the league. I mean, but just from these guys alone.
Okay, so tell me who you got, because I'll make your list and then my list. So
Okay, so move James ahead of Curry. Flip Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, move James ahead of Curry.
Yeah.
Flip Donovan Mitchell and Anthony Edwards.
Flip Mitchell and Anthony Edwards. Okay.
Let's see here.
You can't see what I'm doing, but I will.
All right. Let's see. I think Brunson goes ahead of Bam also. I think Jaylen Brown goes ahead of Bam.
Hold on. Brunson ahead of Bam?
Brunson is ahead of Bam. Jaylen Brown is ahead of Bam.
Is he ahead of Brunson?
No, I don't think so. I think Jaylen Brown is ahead of Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
These 3-point guards, I'm fine with that. Paul George is ahead of buckets. No, he's not. No, he isn't. No, he is not. Paul George.
Okay, don't worry about that last. Don't worry about the C tier, guys.
So we're sticking right with this right here.
The next thing you're going to see is the top 15, and that's what we're going to discuss.
So Jaylen Brown is ahead of Brunson.
Okay, so far, then this is what yours looks like. Right now.
Mm-hmm.
So here's your top 15.
Yeah.
And then I will make the necessary adjustments and show you mine. Because this isn't mine either.
Right.
Let us. I like yours is. Okay. Just got to pull it up on screen.
I think Ja's ahead of Tyrese. Well,
yeah, those guys.
I think he's going to move ahead. I think he's going to move back ahead of Tyrese Maxey.
Oh, okay. Before the season's done? Okay.
Yeah.
Here's what you got as your top 15. So you've got Jokic at 1, Doncic at 2.
Nope. Flip Doncic and Giannis. Giannis is 2. Luka is 3.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do then? I'm going to bring up the screen again because you're making too many damn changes, man. Here we go. And then yes, Marcus FM Minor, you guys were going to bring you on in a second. We just need to get his in order here. All right, so you're going
flip Giannis and Luka. I think Giannis is still ahead of Luka. Let's see. That's correct. Bam, Ja, Dame. I'm bringing Wemby up a little bit closer too, Tone. I think Wemby is going into this season. Is Wemby ahead of Halliburton? No, he isn't. Going into the season, he's not. At the end of the season, we can have a different conversation. But going into the season, Wemby is not ahead of Halliburton. No, he isn't.
So are you good with your top 15? So these 3 rows.
Yes.
Okay. So you've got
Damian Lillard is ahead of Mikal Bridges. He ahead of okay, we're just talking about the 3 rows. I'm sorry.
Just 3 rows, just 3 rows.
Yeah, we're talking about the 3 rows.
So let that marinate for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The Tribe, off topic. Will anyone truly? And I was saving your super chat for this moment because we were talking about Wemby a little bit.
Right.
Will anyone truly challenge Wemby for the best in the league by year 6? Also, 2K has Braun rated higher than AD. Are they right? Winfluent.
I don't play video games from what I understand. I mean,
Well, I think is it right in the sense that
Right.
do you have LeBron rated higher than AD?
You shouldn't, to be honest with you. Mm-mm. You should not. So if we go back to the list, I think I got Anthony Edwards ahead of Devin Booker, and he shouldn't be.
But hold on. Okay, I'll go back in a second. So you
Yep.
think the answer to the first part though, Wemby, is he going to be
By year
first?
6, in 6 years from now, I think I think by year 6, Wemby could be the best player in the league. Sure. I don't think that's ridiculous to think. In 6 years, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think that he is I definitely think he could be a top 6 player or the best player in the league by year 6. No, I don't think that's ridiculous to think that. Not at all.
I think I think year 3, you're going to see Wemby again, assuming he gets hurt. I think year 3, you're going to say Wemby's the best player.
You think by year 3, so 2 years from now, Tone, you think he's in the conversation as the best player in the game? 2
Yep.
years from now.
2 years from now, I think year 3, we're going to see a step up in his offense.
All right.
And that is that's going to be it. He's
All right.
he's going to be
Excuse me.
he's going to be the guy. So okay, so let me just double check. Is this because I think you made a
No.
change?
So again, Book is ahead of Anthony Edwards. Move James down too, because Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis is ahead of KD.
So you're making this move?
Yes. So I'm definitely doing that.
Okay.
Move Anthony Davis. I want to move Anthony Davis. I want to move him ahead of KD. Yep. I want to move Anthony. I want to move him ahead of KD. I want to move him ahead of James too. Yep.
Wow.
I want to move him ahead of James too. I do.
So okay,
he should be the best player on the Lakers.
Okay,
100%. He should be the best player on the Lakers.
So let's recap. So you got Jokic at 1, Giannis at 2, Luka at 3,
Correct.
Tatum at 4, Joel at 5, SGA at 6, AD at 7, LeBron at 8, Curry at 9, KD at 10, Mitchell at 11, Book at 12, Edwards at 13, Jaylen Brown at 14, and Jalen Brunson rounding out the top 15 players in the NBA.
I'm cool with that. Yep. I am cool with that. And I'm not totally I think Donovan Mitchell is a top 10 player in the game, man. But I'm gonna let this season play out. Because I think he's teetering on that 8 to 11 spot. But I'm cool with him being right where he is right now. I'm comfortable with these 15 guys. I'm good with that.
So I am going to bring up your top 5, your top 15 list now that we have it nice and clean.
Yep.
I am going to make my adjustments. While I make my adjustments, we're going to bring in Marcus, who I'm sure is going to disagree with you. Or maybe he's going to agree with you. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out here in a second. Marcus, you're up, sir.
So that's why you got Donovan Mitchell ranked. That, my God. That's why you got him ranked over there. You can eat top 10.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense now. It makes sense now. But all right, hold on. So this your list right here?
Yes.
Okay. First 2, 3 is good. 4, nah. Put Joel above him. Put Shea above him. put AD above Tatum.
Still have not gotten the
Look, you gotta tell us why though. You
I
can't.
still have not gotten a
why?
satisfactory
Don't-
answer on
don't
what
just
SGA.
start moving.
What did SGA do to jump Jason Tatum? What did he do?
What did he do to jump Jason Tatum?
What did he do to jump Jason Tatum?
The past 2 years?
In the past 2
Well,
years, what did he do to jump Jason
no,
Tatum?
no. Because he didn't make the playoffs last year. But MVP or he had an MVP level season.
Jason Tatum finished 4th in league MVP votes last season.
Did he ever finish second? Did he finish second this year?
He didn't finish second, but he finished in the top 5 last year. I think he finished 4th the year before that.
But all right, so how did they both play in the playoffs this year?
How did they both play in the playoffs? The Celtics won the NBA championship, and he was their leading scorer and leading rebounder. You're asking me. The Celtics won the NBA championship, and he was their leading scorer, their leading rebounder, and the leading assist man.
So, do you think Jason Tatum played by his standards like good?
Good enough to win the NBA championship.
Okay. All right. Good enough to win the NBA championship.
I just don't know. I don't know what SGA did to jump Jason Tatum in 2 years. What did he do?
Now look. This is just this year. This is based off this year, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this ain't for the past
Yeah, this is what you're saying. He's going to be
right.
Yeah, going into next year, I believe.
So in the 24-25 season,
yeah,
I still don't think that SGA is past Jason Tatum. I don't.
So you don't think he had a better year this year?
This season that just passed?
Yeah, you don't think Shea had a better year?
A better season?
Yeah, you don't think he had a better year?
I think he shot better. Sure, I'll give you that.
What? Okay.
Yeah, I think he shot the basketball better. Absolutely, I'll give you that. Not much better, but I think he shot the basketball better. Sure.
Playoffs crazy, but you can get past that. Because once you get started with the playoffs,
I think it's crazy that y'all dudes talk about this dude like that. They won the NBA championship he's their leading scorer, assist man, and rebounder. I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not. That shit going in one ear and out the other with me. I'm not hearing that. He led them.
Yeah, that's fine.
They won the NBA championship this year. If anybody else did that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If Luka did that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If Joel Embiid did that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If Joker did that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If James did that, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Even if James shot the ball at the long ball line at 32%, even if Anthony Davis shot the long ball at 27% like he does, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So I'm not having this conversation about Jason Tatum. I'm not.
It depends on how they play.
Your only argument against Jason Tatum is the way he shot the basketball. That's it. That's it. Nothing else.
What's the art? What's the move? What's the move? Oh, good night.
Hey, little bit. How are you?
Yeah, I'm coming.
All right, Marcus. Give me 1 second, Marcus. Hold on. Minor.
Gentlemen, what's going on?
I want to get everybody up quickly to give theirs because then I'm going to bring my top 15. Then we're going to compare the two.
My only objection is I would drop Brown, move Jalen Brunson ahead of him, and put Bam at that last spot. That would be my only objection. Everything else I have no problem with.
Right.
I definitely see the favoritism for your favorite guys, Chill, but it's your list. I get it, but Bam is the one guy I'm shocked you left him off your list.
I don't think he's a top 15 player yet, but I do think he'll be there.
All right, Minor.
Really?
Give me 1 second. I'm going to bring you all back on in a second because I want to get to yes sir, and then I want to see mine. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to be right back. Yes sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask I don't have a problem with it with AD being what's that? Is that the 8th spot or 7th spot?
He's in the 7th spot.
Yep.
Yeah, but just a quick question: if we're gonna do the two-way argument for Tatum to be a top 4 player, why isn't AD higher than Tatum? If he's a better defender, and I think he's on par with him offensively, I don't understand why AD he doesn't get the privilege of being a two-way player, but not getting ranked as high as some other players.
I think he's
beautiful.
I think he's a scorer. I think he's a defender who can score. I think that's the flip side with Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum is I think he's a scorer who can defend.
But does he do?
I think he's a better defensive player than Jason Tatum. I won't argue that. I will not argue that.
But offensively, is it really that big of a gap? I think Tatum is a better offensive player, but I don't think he's that much better than AD. And if AD is one of the best defensive players in the because I'm a Luka fan, so for me, I don't really care defensively when we talk individuals. But I'm
so
just
why are we
asking,
bringing that up then? So why are we bringing up
because I can see the kind of the standard that you're holding to with Tatum, and when you're talking about Luka with him as well. So if you're saying that Tatum is
if I was holding that standard, if I was holding Jason Tatum to that standard, why wouldn't he be the best player in the league? Why wouldn't I have him in front of Luka if I was holding him to that standard?
Top 4 is very generous though for him, I think.
I think that shit is crazy that Jason Tatum is generously a top 4 player.
Because he's not a better offensive player than SGA. He's not a better offensive player than Steph.
Yes, he is.
He's not a better offensive player than LeBron, and not Embiid as well.
Yes, he is. Y'all, all y'all do is going off. All you going off with SGA is buckets in terms of scoring. Even though he's just as good a scorer, I think that SGA shoots the basketball this season better. But an overall offensive player, he is not a better offensive player than Jason Tatum. No way. Jason Tatum is a better passer.
Yes, sir. We'll be right back. As you can see, I pulled up my top 10. So I'm going to tell you mine. Then I'm going to do the side by side, and then I'm going to bring everybody back up, and you can all argue for the last 9 minutes. So I've got LeBron James at number 1 because, like I said, stop comparing him to himself.
This isn't a troll, by the way. This is dead serious.
I'm dead serious. When you are comparing him to all these other players, compare him to these players, not to himself. So when I look at him, he has got now no flaws in his game. That's it. Jokic, as the best offensive big man we've ever seen at number 2. Joel Embiid, another all-around excellent player who only health, and I think he's going to be healthy this season. Remember, I'm projecting for this year.
Yep.
Giannis, I still think because of his defense, and even though he lacks shooting ability, he's still able to score 30 points a night and give you elite defense. So he's got to be in my top 5. Luka has a case to be 1, but I think his defense and some of that, I wish he had a little athleticism. If he trims down a little, I haven't seen that he lost a little bit of weight. I got Luka again. I'm projecting.
To be honest with you,
I know that's my issue, but I'm projecting to the season. So I've got SGA, and the reason I have SGA ahead of Tatum isn't because of what they did. Because you're right. If I was looking back, I would have Tatum over SGA. However, I believe SGA comes back and takes a next step up. I believe Tatum, correctly, by the way, what I'm about to say, I'm not going to say takes a step back, but I believe when you win an NBA championship, the thing that and what we're going to see in the regular season is you're not going to go 1,000,000% because you know what matters, which is the playoffs. So I think you're going to see Tatum tweak it down a notch in the regular season.
He levels off, Tone?
I think purposely to allow Brown, Porzingis, Holiday, White, all of them, because they re-signed everybody, right? So I think he's going to let them get theirs because and I think it's the right thing to do as a team player. So he's going to take that and then focus on the playoffs, which he should. I think he's coming back with the mindset of his mindset I don't think is I'm going to be the regular season MVP. I think he's going to come back with an eye on being the best player in the playoffs and winning the Eastern Conference MVP, because I believe they go back to the finals, on trying to be a finals MVP. I think that is his goal, because I don't think the narrative fits Tatum either, which is part of the MVP, unfortunately, for the regular season. So I think that's why I'm putting SGA above him, because I think he's going to take a little down. Steph, I think Steph had a crazy Olympic run, and we're hearing he's going to LA, but let's be honest, he's going to be on a really bad Warriors team. So he's going to get his. They're
going to be terrible.
he's going to look great because he's going to get his. Anthony Davis, I think this is the season for Anthony Davis. We say it every season, be healthy, which he was
since 2020. Since 2020, we've been saying it.
this is the if like I've been calling for him to be traded for a couple of years now. If he doesn't do what expected, which is become the best player on the Lakers, I think he's gone. So that's why he's still in my top 10. Anthony Edwards, although I think the bottom 2-3 guys there were better than him. I think we see this is the Anthony Edwards breakout year. You thought it was last year? No, I think it's this year where he comes back, because I think, like a lot of players, he went to that Olympics. He hung around LeBron James, Steph Curry, Jason Tatum, et cetera, Kevin Durant. And he's the type of player that isn't going to sit there and be like, these guys are a bunch of chumps. No, he looked at what they were doing and he's like, oh, that's what I have to do to be there. Okay, I'm going to do that. So I think that's why I think he takes that step up. KD, same thing. I think KD takes, again, a little bit of a, hey, let's coast through the regular season. Donovan Mitchell, and Booker, I'm not high on that. I even hate having them in the top 15 at all. I don't think they're number one guys on a team. Huh?
Wow, in the top 15?
No. I don't think
I ain't doing that. I'm definitely not doing that. Hell no.
Even Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's only in my top 15 ahead of Jalen Brunson, because I know Cowboy Bob's going to kill me for this. The only reason he's there is I think Jalen Brunson says, I've been carrying this Knicks team for a couple of years now. Bridges isn't going to come in here. You do something. I'm gonna save myself. And again, I believe he should do that. So I think because of what I said about Tatum giving up some, I think Jaylen Brown is the one who's going to benefit from that the most when we look at them statistically, especially. And I think Wemby takes his first step to MVP status this year by not only being a great defender, shot blocker, etc., but I think he'll start to understand the game a little bit. And he's gonna be early on. Here's my prediction: by the end of the in-season tournament, you're gonna be hearing Wemby for MVP talk, and then it'll die down after the All-Star break when he levels off. But I think
San Antonio, you must think San Antonio's gonna be a good team this year. Then
I think they're gonna start off hot, and then plateau to where they should be. So that's why I say early they're gonna love it, and then. Okay. So there's mine. So let's now show both, and then who did not come on. Marcialago did not come on.
Yo.
Hello. I just have to say something. So like people I'm not like a Celtics or a Jason Tatum fan, but like I hate how people say that I hate how people using his like his shooting percentage in the playoffs to deteriorate like where he is in the rankings. But like if I remember, like 2 years ago, Steph Curry had arguably his like worst shooting performance in the regular season and in the playoffs. But up until the finals, he actually played good. And then after he won the finals, like people started putting him in the top 3 conversations. But before that, he was shooting terribly. So I just don't know where we're going off to.
I don't either.
Because like he shot the ball probably worse than him, but he just only had one good series in the playoffs, in my opinion. That's probably the only good series he had. But if anything,
which series do you think was Curry's best series?
The finals.
I think he got busy in the West Finals. I won't say that for the semis against Memphis. I don't think he got busy against them. I do not. And he came off the bench in the first round, so he wasn't that sharp coming into the playoffs because he had missed a month before the playoffs started.
Yeah, but I just don't get it though. It's the hate.
Like Brown.
What's
What up?
Chill?
What up?
I think your list is perfect.
Whose list is perfect?
Chills.
No, you're incorrect.
He was cooking. Everyone on his Tatum takes. I just believe that. I also disagree with you, Fluent, with Tatum taking a step back as well, because he will start the season without Kristaps, so I feel like that will put him in MVP discussion, and he just came off a season where he won the finals, so I think he's more motivated to go start the season, go off back to back. So
and he did that last year. He sacrificed last
yeah,
year. He did that last year. So
and I totally agree with you, Chill, as well. What the Shea has done in these 2 seasons to pass Tatum as well. Tatum resume goes back to his rookie season. I could put Tatum resume against anybody in this Fluent top 5, even
Uh,
against.
remember, we are projecting what they're going to do next season, not what they did in the past. So resume means nothing.
So you don't think Tatum's gonna get better? He's been getting better every year, and he's only 26.
I believe that Tatum is who Tatum is. This is who he is. He's not going to take another step. And in fact, once you win a championship, go check it out. Almost there's exceptions. Don't give me the exceptions. The majority of players that win a championship come back the next seasons, especially ones that win a chip and then go play in the Olympics, although he didn't play, but go to the Olympics, come back, and they know what's important. And what's important is not the regular season. And so they wait for the playoffs or the end of the season to really start cooking. And people will look at his numbers, which will be down slightly, and they'll dip him. And that's what I said. That's why I have him down there, is because I believe he's going to do what he should do, which is defer to his teammates for the regular season and then start to at the end of the season in the playoffs, start to take over.
I don't agree, because Kristaps will be out the first few couple months, and he's gonna need
not
him.
by playoffs time though. And Kristaps isn't the guy. It's Jaylen Brown and Derrick White and Holiday, who he wants to make sure that they stay motivated and in the offensive groove. Because when Holiday's involved in the offense, that team they're already tough to beat. They're unstoppable.
So you don't think he's gonna take more shots even with Kristaps being out?
Yeah. I think it. I don't think it goes to Tatum. I think it goes to Brown, White, and Holiday.
Nah, that offense runs around Tatum and Brown. They do two-headed snakes. I believe Tatum numbers will be as they were last year when he averaged 30.
Okay.
Because it just went down. It just went down to 27. That's three less points, and Kristaps was playing.
Okay.
All I know is they ain't have Kristaps for the whole playoffs. I mean, he played 3 games in the playoffs. So
and went to the finals and took the chip. But people don't like to say that. People don't like to speak on that as well.
Yeah.
He did win him a game. And your name's Brown. You should be on the Jaylen Brown train. All right, hold on 1 second, Brown. We'll go back up to the top. You okay? We bring a couple on at a time. Chill. I know. I don't want to
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go, Marcus and Minor. Marcus, you said now that you're able to speak.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so look, winning the finals is great, but it's how you perform in that. I'm not going to say just because you won the finals that you should automatically be above said person because he isn't in the finals. I'm not going to do that.
You don't have to do it, but that's the consensus.
That from who?
That's the consensus. Winning matters.
So why Luka ain't there? I mean, so why is Luka above Tatum?
I have them right next to each other. I've always had them right next to each other. Always. I've always had those two right next to each other, literally. And they weren't close to each other in years past, but they right next to each other now.
Winning matters. Winning matters. So what about Giannis and Tatum? How close are they?
What about Giannis and Tatum?
Yeah.
Well, the indictment is out on Giannis now. He gets bounced. He gets bounced one more time, or he misses the playoffs.
First round, the second round.
He's got to move down. He's got to move down. He has to. 100%. He's got to move down.
Do you blame him for last year?
Last season?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Giannis.
Tone, that non-contact injury worries me. I don't like that. I don't, Tone.
But do you blame his game? Do you blame his game?
Do I blame his game?
Injuries are injuries.
Okay, so in 2023, yes, they shouldn't have lost to Miami. No way they should have lost to Miami. Absolutely not. And I'm not buying the logic that he was hurt because he had almost a 40-20 game. He also had I think a 39 or 32 game. He runs away from the free throw line at the end of the game.
That was hilarious.
So that's why they got Dame to close games out for that reason. So I feel like Giannis has
hurt. As you know, I think that hurt the Bucks more than it helped. But okay,
I feel like Giannis has to get back to the respectable mid-range game that he had 2 or 3 years ago. I think Giannis has to get back to being more aggressive in the mid-post, more aggressive there. I feel like if he can do that, I feel like he can stay exactly where he is. There was a
That's
time
how
when I
feel,
thought
Tim.
that he was. There was a time when I actually thought that he was a better offensive player than Joker. I got off that hill because I was bugging. But there was a time when I thought that he was a better offensive player than Joker.
Can Fluent Chill? Can one of y'all explain to me why both of you left Bam out of the top 15? Because looking into this season upcoming and the way Bam played in the Olympics, I think he's going to have an awesome season
I'm this
upcoming.
close to. I'm right here at putting him ahead of Jalen Brunson.
So
Right here.
please explain to me why both of you guys left him out.
Left who?
Bam.
Bam.
Oh, Bam. Because he's not a top 15 player.
Well,
I
hold
think
on.
that
I don't think Olympics should matter in NBA play like rankings.
I hear what you're saying, Marcus. My only pushback is a lot of times when you look at how the Olympics affect the season after, you look at Dwayne Wade, he had one of his best seasons ever. LeBron had one of his best seasons ever. KD after 2012 had one of his best seasons
Barkley
ever.
won the league MVP.
Okay, let me ask you this: who's going to be more motivated this season, Jalen Brunson, who was left off the team, or Bam, who was on the team?
I think Bam, because I think he will have more offensive responsibility this year because Jimmy is slowing down. I think he is looking to impress his girlfriend, who is also one of the best players in the WNBA. And he wants to show her that he is also one of the best players in the NBA. And not only that, looking at the East, you got Embiid at center, and then it's Bam, and then it's the field. I think he is absolutely going to annihilate literally everybody else, except for maybe the Knicks, because they have the big bodies to deal with Bam. But beyond that, I think he gives it to he.
Minor, when you say annihilated guy, what are we talking about here? Like, what kind of jump are we talking about Bam making?
I'm thinking he's 24.
He was 21 last year.
I'm thinking 24.
So Bam going into his, how old is he? Like 27, 28?
Mm-hmm. He showed up at 17.
Yeah, I'm thinking 24, 12, and 5.
So that's Anthony Davis.
Nah, he was 19 this year.
Bob, yes.
I think
Bob.
Bam was a 20. I'm 100%
like
confident Bam was a 20 and 10 guy this year. I'm
100%
I'm looking at it.
confident.
That's without
a
shadow of doubt.
It says 19.3.
Okay, so he was right there at 20. So yeah, I think he's going to go to 24, 12, and 5. And probably two blocks, still in a half, maybe. But great efficiency. I think he's going to.
10 player.
Which one of these teams? Let me ask you. I know. I'm assuming you're a Miami fan. Which one of these teams? Denver, Milwaukee, Dallas, Boston, Philadelphia, LA, Golden State, Phoenix, Cleveland, Minnesota, get better with Bam instead of these 15 guys ahead of him?
With Bam on the team, which teams? Minnesota definitely gets better. Golden State gets better.
So if you take Steph Curry off the Warriors and put Bam, they're better?
No. I thought you meant just adding Bam.
No. Of course, if you add him to these guys, that's why I said if you replace Bam with any one of those 15 guys, which team gets better? That's one of the reasons he's not on the list for me.
And I don't understand why it's a wash. Like, he should be. I'm this close to putting him ahead of Jalen Brunson. I just don't think offensively he is aggressive enough as I'd like him to be. That's why that's why I'm out on buckets. That's why I want buckets off the crew, and I want to run the offense through Bam to make him more aggressive offensively.
Now, if that happens, we're having a different conversation.
That's why I want him. That's why I'm out on buckets.
I think it would have happened already, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Jimmy's going anywhere. I think he's going to finish out in Miami, even though
Pat Riley ain't paying him. No,
they'll figure something out. They'll figure something out.
He won $110 million. You think you got Pat Riley paying this dude $55 million at 37 years old when he only played barely 60 games?
I think Jimmy is just playing the game. I don't think he knows he is not going to get that money anywhere.
Bam would have if Bam would have showed some of that like earlier, then I think you could have like made a jump to like, you know, what you were insinuating for him to do next year. But he came in at 17, right? You said that?
I think he showed up in 17, if I'm not 17 or 18, one of them 2 years.
And you said, and I remember you said one time, you had said by year whatever, this is who you is.
By year 5.
Exactly. By year 5, this is who you is. We're going to like what, year 9?
No, we ain't that far.
Near 8, year 8, 7.
Where are we with Bam? Bam showed up in 17. So
it's like year 8 for him.
1, 2, 3, 4,
and it's about to be
5, 6, 7. So we're going into year 8.
Year 8. Yeah, this is who he is, bro. Like he did.
Not.
Good
I don't think so, because you look at how well he was shooting in the Olympics compared to how he shot.
It's a shorter three. It's a shorter three.
Correct. Absolutely. But you're talking about aggression. I saw more offensive aggression, him being on that second team, than normal from Bam. Go ahead, Fluent. I see you want to say something.
That's why I want buckets out for that reason right there.
Only because of time, I'm just going to recap the top 15 one more time. Chill. I don't know how much time you have left, but I will go through it. So Chill's top 15. He's got Jokic at 1, Giannis at 2, Doncic at 3, Tatum at 4, Embiid at 5, SGA at 6, Anthony Davis at 7. That's nuts. LeBron at 8, Curry at 9, Kevin Durant at 10, Donovan Mitchell at 11, Booker at 12, Anthony Edwards at 13, Jaylen Brown at 14, and Jalen Brunson at 15. My top 15. I got the King at number 1. I have a conspiracy about him too that we got to talk about for about 30 seconds. The King at number 1, Jokic at 2, Embiid at 3, Giannis at 4, Doncic at 5, SGA at 6, Tatum at 7, Curry at 8, AD at 9, Anthony Edwards at 10, KD at 11, Mitchell at 12, Booker at 13, Brown at 14, and Wembanyama at 15. Remember, this is going into next season.
The 24-25 season. Yes,
24-25 season. I will end the show on this question. 1, this is rhetorical, so don't answer it. How did we spend the whole time arguing about Bam at 15 versus any of the other picks? 2, there is you remember how I always get these, you know how I always get these articles early? So the last article I got was, did LeBron James tank the 2011 season, the 2011 finals, excuse me, because he didn't want Dwayne Wade to be finals MVP? That's out, by the way. I'll send everybody the link. I'll put it in the comments. But the next one that's coming out next week is gold, Jerry, gold. Is LeBron James' nickname King really his last name because he's the illegitimate son of Bernard King?
Oh my God.
All right, so the answer to the second question, no.
Here we go. Okay.
So the answer to the second question, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are way over time. We are way over time, ladies and gentlemen. It was oh my gosh. I'm gonna take you off screen for a second because I want everyone to see this in kind of as big as I can. I'm just saying. I just want to put this out there, Tone. Just so I don't know if you know this, Tone, but LeBron James, his mother, she had him when she was 15, which means that Bernard King would be exactly that.
I believe she was 16.
Okay, so 16.
And just some little nuggets from the article. A couple of little nuggets from the article is that, so 9 months prior to James's birthday,
December 30th, 1984.
9 months prior to that, Bernard King is in Cleveland playing the Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA, of course, wanted to keep it quiet like they do because she was so young. That's some of, and then there's a bunch of other things. They talk about their size, their ability to recover from injuries. If you remember, Bernard King, I believe, was the first ever to come back from a torn ACL or something, right? He was the only one to ever do that. Their style of play, they show the looks, like some of the facial features. It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. I'm just saying. I love these, man. I love these.
Tone is the epitome.
I love it. It's like
theorists.
It's it's like was it oh, I don't have it here. Oh, too bad I don't have it here. I would have read you a little blurb. But anyways, we're out of time anyways. We've long over time actually. Take it away, sir.
We got to bounce. It was great to see you guys tonight. As you guys know, this is where you can find me and my man Tony Tone every Tuesday night on the Sports Fluent and Chill Town Hoops Network. This is what we do, Fluent and Chill. We will see you guys soon, but until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. See you soon, man. But until then, take it light, but take it. Absolutely, man.
I saw my mother today.
Hey, you know what? I've got this water, and we've got, we've got this red version. We got a red bottle, and we got a David Beckham.